So, hi everybody. I'm Aaron Kesler. I'm a senior product manager at Blue Cross. Um, I've been contacted a lot about how to, connect, network, and find mentorship. And you know, people have been really surprised about how I've been able to do this, even remotely. My network has been expanding remotely, and so trying to teach you how to do the same thing. So I'd like to start out with a quote by the Fresh Prince himself. If you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. Your life will become better by making other lives better. And this is what I want people to understand about mentorship is that when we get mentorship, we're actually making the mentors' lives better because they are making our lives better. So it's this shared thing. So what are we going to cover? We're going to cover why it is that you want to connect. What's your why? Um, and then we're going to go to finding your perfect mentor. Then we're going to go to how to form a connection. And then after that, what happens, right? You connected, but now what? Um, so, uh, a lot of us are probably product managers. So create a persona, create your ideal mentor. Take some time to reflect on what it is you actually want to gain by mentorship. Do you want to hone a skill? Do you want to figure out what the difference is between a product manager and product operations? Maybe you've been Googling a lot and you just can't really understand the difference. Talk to people. Do you want to figure out, how to get from senior to principal or, that next step of director or head of product? I do want to say that, like, networking itself, it can be considered pretty selfish, but this is not selfish. What would be selfish is going into a mentor meeting and not having any idea of what you actually want to gain out of that. You're wasting their time and you're wasting your time. So my ideal mentor-mentee relationship, Iron Man and Spider-Man, right? So in seriousness, when I started looking for mentorship about 6 years ago, I was trying to figure out the difference between product management and sales engineering. I had a technical background. I didn't know exactly, what to use it for. I just knew I didn't want to be a developer anymore. And so I wrote that stuff down. I knew I didn't want to be a developer anymore. I wanted to, figure out what those, different technical skills could be applied to. And then one of the things that I also said was that they have to be in their career for at least 5 years so that they have something to teach me. And then I want to see that they are some type of person who's ambitious. They rose through the ranks to be senior, principal, director, or head. And then I also want to see that they work at a product-focused company. And so, a product-focused company, I would consider, Apple or Google, where they really have that customer-first approach. None of my mentors are actually from those companies. One of them works there now, but none of them were there at the time. So moving on to finding your mentor. LinkedIn is such a powerful tool. You can see this search that I have. I'm looking at second degree connections. So, somebody that I know personally might know this person. I'm looking locally in the Raleigh-Durham area. And then I'm also typing in the keywords product, or, if you want to look for sales engineering or VP of product, head of product, anything that you can think of. Another good way to do this is, if you have a school where people are really, really proud of their school, you can, search on what school that you went to. Like, I went to University of Delaware. I've connected with a bunch of people from University of Delaware in this area. And so that's another thing you could do. So I call this LinkedIn stalking 101. So once you start combing through LinkedIn and trying to figure out, you have to think about what you actually are looking for, right? So I have that persona, right? So I'm thinking, okay, this guy, he has a somewhat technical degree. He was a co-founder, like myself, way back when, and he stayed at that company for about 3 years, and then he went on to be a software engineer somewhere else. He went to be a product manager, and now he's a solutions engineer. So this would be a perfect connection for me. As you can see, I'm already starting to build that conversation with him in my head. I'm already curious about like what was your path like? What did you hate about software engineering that made you get into product management or solutions engineering? Why did you make the jump from product manager to solutions engineer? So another thing I want to make clear is, view their profile in public mode. Like, let them know that you are actually looking at their profile and that you're actually curious about them. A lot of people view in private mode because they don't want other people to see, but I always just view in public mode. So there are three types of actually connecting that I've found. One is cold connecting, which is just reaching out to somebody out of the blue. You don't even have a secondary connection with them. I did this a lot when I first moved to Raleigh. I had no idea who anybody was. And cold connecting it's a little bit more difficult than warm connecting. But it's the same principle. Just, figure out something that you're really curious about, and then reach out to them. Warm connecting, what I said previously, you have somebody in common that you already know. And then this is very underutilized, but connect internally. I mean, Blue Cross, for instance, is a huge organization. And, we tend to talk to people that are within our own department. So, you can use your colleagues and your calendar to just schedule a meeting with somebody. And so we'll get into that a little bit later. So cold connecting rules, right? Look through their LinkedIn profile thoroughly, find a reason to connect with them, and then include a note in your connection request what it is that you actually found interesting, or why you actually want to talk to them. Make sure to get across that you're not selling anything. I get contacted by people on LinkedIn saying like, oh, I really want to sell you a product at Blue Cross and stuff like that. And, okay, that's fine. But, make sure that you actually just want to chat with them. Like it comes across. You can see in my, my message these are real messages, not there. I didn't message Mr. Krabs directly, but, hey, Mr. Krabs, thanks for the connection. Your career path seems to be exactly what I'm looking to do as well. Would you be up for a chat sometime? And then he got back to me almost right away. Same thing with, SpongeBob. I mean, I see that you started in sales and then moved into sales engineering. I really want to utilize my technical knowledge somehow. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And he got back to me almost immediately as well, because, I'm not trying to sell him anything. It shows that I've taken some time to look at his profile, and people want to see that. People want to be, respected. Warm connecting rules. So again, stalk on LinkedIn. But before you reach out to this person, reach out to your second degree connection and ask them how they know that person. So this is an example. I was looking at literary agents because I wrote a book during COVID. So I just reached out to a friend of mine. I said, hey, Sandy, I was just searching literary agents on LinkedIn. Do you know this person well? And it turns out he was her first boss. And so, she had no problem just reaching back out to him and being like, hey, let's, if you don't mind talking to him. I'm also trying to make it clear, like, I don't really care if you're going to be my literary agent. I just really want to talk to you and figure out the publishing industry, because I have no idea about it. Obviously it'd be great if he was going to be my literary agent, but we'll see. So internal connection rules. This is similar to the second degree connections, but ask colleagues who they might recommend you talk to. Figure out among your internal network if you're struggling with a problem. Like, for instance, this is a message that I sent because I was looking to learn more about machine learning and AI. And it turns out there was somebody whose specialty is that, and he was a manager in a different department. And so I got connected with him, just scheduled a quick 30-minute meeting on his calendar. And it turns out we had a bunch of other similarities. I mean, he started his own company, and he's become a real mentor of mine. I meet with him almost once a month now. And you never know what'll happen. But the key is that their calendar is available to you. So use it, right? Anybody's calendar at your organization is available to you. So just drop a meeting on their calendar and just say like why you're interested in them. But so you connected, and there are different types of things that you have to do after that, right? Like get them on the phone. But some people don't necessarily know what to even say when you get them on the phone. You just say like, oh, I don't have an agenda right now. So ask them about themselves, ask them about their journey, how they got there. Do they even like what they do? And then you could always tell them about something that you're struggling with and see if they can help you right on the spot there. Ask them about their problems, ask them about what the biggest problem that they're solving is. Just be genuinely interested in them. Dale Carnegie said in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, be genuinely interested in people. And that is a really good way to connect with people. And then, one of the things that I always like to end calls with, or when we're getting close to the end, is I want to know what books that they're reading and what are some of their favorite books, and then what podcasts are they listening to. And I think that also shows, you are genuinely looking for knowledge. You want to improve your skills. You want to improve. And that's a good way to show that to your mentor, and that they will want to follow back up with you and say like, hey, have you read that book that I recommended? So another few interview tactics. This is what I use for customer interviews mainly, but it still works, right? Tell me more. If they're talking about a story, and you something piqued your interest, oh, tell me more about that, or go on. It shows that you're listening. What have you done to try and solve for some problem? And then another thing, as a product manager, I love talking about what software or tools people are currently using. So ask them what tools are you using, what do you love? And then the last one, silence is actually a really good way to keep people talking, because a lot of people are uncomfortable with silence, so they'll fill it. And I'm not saying make your mentor uncomfortable, but like silence is a good way to just keep them talking. It also can show that you're listening, especially if you're on video. Or if you want to meet in person, that's totally fine. I've met for coffee. So ending the call, right? Thank them profusely for their time. They just volunteered half an hour, whatever it is, to meet with you. And that, their time is super valuable. So thank them. Schedule a follow-up while you're on the call. Say, can I reach out to you in maybe a month? Like, what's your schedule looking like a month from now? And then, if they gave you advice or a book to read, I really recommend you either use that advice or read part of the book before the next call. I mean, so as a little aside, so one of my mentors gave me some advice, and I didn't get to actually take it because the problem that I was having, the person actually left the company. But I still acknowledged it the next time that I went on the call with them. I just said like, hey, like, listen, I wanted to take your advice, but here's actually what happened. But I really appreciate the advice, and I will hopefully won't get to use it in the future, but I'll think about it in the future if it ever happens again. And then, let one connection lead to another. Ask them if there's anyone else that they might recommend that you speak with. And then, another way is like, if you see that they're connected with somebody that you also want to be connected with, just, maybe just slide that in there. Like, hey, do you recommend I talk to, Mr. Crab or Plankton? And they might say, no, I don't think you would like talking to him. I don't think you guys would get along, but chances are they'd say like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. So that's ending the call. Lastly, pay it forward. You'll likely get contacted the same way. When I first started connecting with people, a little bit after that, I got this message from somebody, and they just wanted to hop on a 15-minute call, and it actually didn't work out that day. So we actually met for coffee. And this guy became one of my best friends, because he was just looking to grow as well, and he had that same drive and ambition. And it turns out, we're about the same age, and we have a lot of similarities. But you never know what'll happen. Just take the call, mentor others, and your mentors would want you to mentor others. They want you to share the knowledge that they've shared with you. So, if you're nervous, or if this is out of your comfort zone, I know this is it's out of a lot of people's comfort zones. Test it out by emailing me. I will give you feedback. I would love to help you reach out and find other mentors. And like I said, I'm running a book. I'm hoping to get it published, but I'll even throw another incentive out there. Like, if you reach out to me, if you email me, I'll give you a copy of my book for free if I can help you. So I'd love to do that. But I'll end the way I started, right, with the Fresh Prince. If you're not making somebody else's life better, then you're wasting your time, and your life will become better by making other lives better. So mentor and be mentored. And that's it. Any questions?
Hey, thank you, Aaron. This is Ed. First of all, my apologies for the shaky start today.
Oh, not at
all. Yes, we do have a couple of questions, and we have about 10 minutes left. So sure. I'll read the first one. While I do a great deal of mentoring, I find that some people simply are looking for their next job and not looking for actual guidance. I try to politely tell them that is not the purpose. Have you had this problem, and suggestions on how to say no to a request?
Yeah. And actually, this did actually get brought up with one of my mentors. Is that, like, I said to him a while back, like, oh man, I'm really struggling to go from senior to principal. I'd love to start looking for another job. And he said right back to me, like, oh, I'm not, I'm sorry, but we're not hiring at this time. And I was like, whoa, I'm not asking you for a job. I want your knowledge. Like, all I want is to, like, have a good relationship with you and to be mentored. I'm not trying to look for a job. So that, that is something that's really important to get across. If you are the mentee in that relationship, I know you're talking about from the mentor side, but if you are the mentee in that relationship, making sure that it's crystal clear, like, I'm not looking for anything else besides your knowledge, and I really appreciate your time. That's it. But yeah, I mean, in terms of getting a job, or, I mean, like, being reached out to specifically for that role, I'd say, like, I'd be happy to give you some resources. But, like, I'm more so looking to be a mentor to people right now, and we're not really hiring, or something like that. Like, just, get across that, like, I'm happy to share my knowledge with you, but, like, I don't necessarily think that it's a good fit right now, or something like that. I don't know. But
okay. There's another question here, and for other participants, please enter those into the chat, because we have a little bit of time here. Aaron, the next question is, I've come across people accepting connections based on mutual interest, courses taken, when initiating conversation, seeing no responses back. Starter conversation, thanks for accepting connection. Would you be open to chat? Phone based on mutual availability to help me learn more about product management at your company. Any insights to that?
Oh, he wants
basically, yeah, basically how do you start the conversation?
Oh, how do you start the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah. we can let's, so it is similar to, I guess, what he was doing, you know, combing through that LinkedIn profile, making sure that there's a lot of stuff in common, or that you like, that you can start that conversation with. But let that let that be clear in the initial message, that you like what you're actually just looking to talk about. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to, like, if that question was geared at me, like, if you want to get on the phone with me, absolutely, yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. Here's another one that just came in. Would you reach out to someone who is one level higher or multiple steps ahead in your career? Like, if I'm a senior product manager, should I reach out to a principal or manager or head of product?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely reach out to somebody higher than you. I've connected with VPs of product. I've connected with heads of product. I've connected with directors. I've connected with people the same level as me, just to like bounce ideas off of each other. But I find that I actually learn a lot from these VPs or directors or heads, because they are going through very different challenges than we are going through as individual contributors. So absolutely reach out to VPs, and I'd be shocked if they said, no, I don't have time for that, right?
All right. No other questions, but while you were talking, I was just wondering if you could share like what your hit rate is when you've been reaching out to people. What sort of expectations should people have when they reach out? How often do people respond?
Yeah, I mean, it really varies. I mean, like, I would say that in general, like, the product management community is very much more accepting of, helping others, and helping other product managers grow, especially because it's such a, not necessarily a vague job, but like there's so many different types of product management. And so there are a lot of people who are willing to help. When I first started doing this, I was probably getting like a 70%, response rate. I think that now people, might not necessarily get back right away, but that's fine. Like, not everybody has the time. Not everybody wants to actually, do this. And, that's probably not what a good relationship would be. Like, if you're going to have to struggle to even get somebody on the phone for the initial 30 minutes, like, do you want to struggle every single time you have to get them on the phone? Right. But yeah, I would say that, you should probably expect, like, if you're truly coming from a place of just like, I want to receive knowledge from you, I would expect like a 70 to 80% hit rate.
Okay. And then in terms of the first contact, you're scheduling a call. How much time should you ask for?
I'd say 15 to 30 minutes. People are busy. We all are working remotely. I guess maybe not anymore, but people do seem to have more time. But like, I would say 15 to 30 minutes.
All right. I don't see any more questions here, but I think folks can reach out to you either on the Slack channel or directly.
Yeah, please.
And then, are you planning to go to the Wonder Me?
Yeah,
session?
Yeah, I'll be on that.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great presentation. And
really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, we got some great comments in the chat about it. Folks really like the tips that you provided.
Excellent. I'm happy to provide some value.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, everybody.